Okay, in example 1, we're going to rewrite these logs, which are currently in expanded form, into condensed form. So we're going to condense them into a single logarithm. And following the order of operations means we're going to always do the power property first, and then we'll do the product property and the quotient property as we move from left to right. Okay, a shortcut that you can follow is here where it says if it's an addition, if it's a positive log term, then the argument is going to go in the numerator of the condensed log. If it's subtraction, like in this one, minus log of 2 minus log of y, in that case, the argument of the log goes in the denominator of the condensed form. So if we put those properties together, since this is a common log and we're condensing into a single logarithm, we're going to set up our condensed form this way. And the log of 4 is positive, so that argument of 4 is going to go in the numerator. Then we have a 3 log of x, that's the power property, so we're going to move that coefficient of 3 to become the exponent on the argument of the log, so that's now an x cubed. Okay, then we have a minus log of 2, and since that's negative, that 2 is going to go in the denominator. And then we have a minus log of y, and since it's a negative there, the y is going to go in the denominator. Okay, then we can reduce 4 and 2, cancel and leave a 2 in the numerator. So the simplified form would be the common log of the quantity 2x cubed divided by y. Okay, in example B, we can start by evaluating what's in parentheses here first, following our order of operations. So we'll go ahead and condense. We have a log base 2, and this is a positive and a positive. So there is no subtraction, so we won't need the quotient property. We're going to just use the product property in the parentheses to condense this into the product of 3x and 2y. And 3 times 2 is 6, and then xy. So the parentheses condenses to log base 2 of the quantity 6xy, and then we have that coefficient of 1/2 out in the front. Now we can use the power property to change that coefficient into the exponent on the argument of the log. And remember, a 1/2 power is the same as a square root. So rather than writing this as 6xy to the 1/2 power, we're going to write the simplified form as the log base 2 of the square root of the quantity 6xy, because a 1/2 power is a square root. And that would be our condensed simplified forms for A and B. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and try example C on your own. And then once you've condensed this expression into a single logarithm of base 3, then you can turn the video back on and check your answer. So let's do this one together. We're going to start with the power property, moving the coefficient of 2 to become the exponent on the quantity 4x. So that's going to condense into a log base 3. And in the numerator, since this is a positive log term, we're going to have a 4x quantity squared. Okay, then our next term is a positive log base 3 of 2y, so that 2y will go in the numerator using the product property. Then our third term is a minus log base 3 of the quantity 4xy. Since that's a minus, we're using the quotient property, and that argument of 4xy is then in the denominator of the argument. Okay, now we're going to do some simplifying. So we've got our log base 3, and then in the numerator, 4 squared is 16, times 2 is 32 xy, and that's divided by our denominator 4xy. Oops, I forgot the square on the x. So 32 x squared y divided by 4xy. And then we can reduce that further by dividing the 4 into the 32, which is 8. And then our y's cancel, and x squared divided by x is just an x. So this is going to simplify to the log base 3 of the quantity 8x. Okay, go ahead and pause the video then and try example D on your own and condense this expression into a single natural logarithm. And when you're ready to check, then resume the video and we'll go over it together. So in example D, we have a positive natural log of 4 and a positive natural log of x. So the product property will put the 4x in the numerator. Okay, then in the denominator, we have a minus natural log of 3 and a minus 2 natural log of y. We're going to use the power property on that coefficient of 2 to make that a y squared. And then in the denominator, we'll have 3y squared. And when we look at the argument of that condensed natural log, nothing reduces further, so this would be our condensed and simplified form.